Hello again. I want to do a book review on this one right here. I'm sure you've seen it on the internet, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F. I don't cuss. But it's by Mark Manson, and this guy is a big blogger, and he's written a lot of articles, probably in magazines and online journals. He has a lot of writing experience, and he has traveled a lot. Uh, he's just an adult male guy that writes a lot and has experience in life, and which may kind of turn me off to the whole thing of reading the book. I'd read a lot of self help books in the past, so I was thinking, well, this will just be another one, but maybe it'll be helpful. Maybe it'll help me not to care about what other people think of me, because for a long period of time, I was constantly measuring myself against what other people thought of me, and constantly was asking people, "What do you think of me? Am I good looking? Am I not? Do you think girls will date me? Um, do you think I'm charismatic or people will like me?" And I always thought that way. So that's why I bought the book, because it had like over 5,000 reviews with a crazy positive 5-star ratio, which is how I measure books, by the 5-star ratio and the number of reviews. So this book is super popular. It's written by a guy who is very likely not Christian. He has a history of alcohol and partying, and but he's a fantastic writer. He knows how to publish a book. He knows how to write a blog really, really well, and he's successful in that. So, what is the subtle art of not giving an F about? Well, it has a lot of cussing, like a whole lot, but really it's about the opposite of Christian positivity. So, it's about mastering cynicism, changing how you measure yourself to something that you decide, and how to master deciding what you struggle for. When I read the book, it was a big shift for me, because I always viewed cynicism as a bad thing. I always viewed not caring, not trying, um, and always protecting my identity as essential. And all of that positivity stuff as essential. And this cynicism, this letting yourself go, being yourself, all of that, I didn't value that. I valued the positivity. I may have said that backwards, but what I mean is, I viewed self acceptance as a bad thing before this book, and now it's more about accepting yourself. So the author, I didn't expect the writing to be so good. I didn't expect the publisher to have organized it so well. There are hardly any typos. The way it's written is very persuasive and influential. Um, but it's definitely not Christian at all. But it's extremely helpful for people who don't know how to accept themselves and don't know how to progress, um, with sort of a painkiller. I know this is going to sound weird, but um, most of us progress and see the struggle as a painful experience. And he explains a different mindset where we accept the struggle and count it a joy, because that's what makes us human, is to progress through struggle, and that our fondest memories are based on our negative experiences and not our positive ones, because the positive ones only exist with those that are negative, and not to view the reward as the thing we're seeking, but rather the struggle on the way. So in reality, this book is a typical self help book. Typical, really, but it's a good one. It is a really, really good one, especially for somebody who has superstitious positivity, I would call it. Like, they delude themselves into high self esteem, even though they are not all that great. They don't accept their inadequacies, they don't accept their failures. Those type of people could really use the mastery of cynicism. I have personal family who does not know how to take criticism, does not know how to um, handle negative thoughts. They don't know how to accept their own thoughts. They try to filter themselves. Like um, they try to filter their negativity out and they focus on the positivity. And in the subtle art, it's different than that. You accept your negativity and your positivity, and you decide to use both in order to progress. For instance, the mastery of fear. If you are afraid, good. That means you are wise, and you need to use your fear in order to avoid trouble. And things like that, just subtle things, and that's the whole point of the book, right? Subtle, and it's filled with a lot of subtle things that are supposed to add up and help you. But when I finished the book, I was disappointed because I didn't feel like I actually learned the secret to not caring about myself. And that's what I was looking for. I was looking for a magic bullet when I started the book, and when I ended, all I really got was a bunch of ideas, perspectives that made me think another way and to discredit the Christian positivity that we have today in general, just the modern culture of it. I could say that it is the opposite of the book. I think it's called The Power of Positive Thinking by Dr. Somebody. He's a pastor, right? The Power of Positivity. It's a Christian book by the pastor who pastored Donald Trump. Um, and it's a green book. It's a classic, and it's all about Christian positivity and mastering positivity. Well, this book is the opposite, and it's actually pretty cool to read both books and see both worlds, and sort of chasten yourself to understand that both of them should be taken into consideration before deciding who you're going to be. To mold your own personality to be what it is that you want to feel, do, and how you want to see the world. So you can choose to take the things that you want from the subtle art and from the power of positive thinking. And you could form your own mindset, have fun with it. I don't see why not. So, is the book good? The book is very good as a book, but it will challenge your perspectives, especially the Christian perspective, the positivity perspective. It will challenge that, and I think it's a good challenge. It could be a tough book to read for some people. The cussing could be a turnoff. I lent the book to a friend of mine, and she hated it because of all the cussing. And in there, it basically it tells you to kill yourself, right? But he means it metaphorically, and she got offended by that because yeah, it's just I've had friends who committed suicide as well. Not friends, but family, distant family. Um, and I could see how that's a very scary thing to say in a book. But it actually does say that in the book. And that's the point I'm trying to make, that it says it in the book. Um, but he means it by your identity, except that your identity is going to change day to day, and to allow it and to embrace it, and that you're fluid. So it's a pretty cool book, I think. It does have its issues. You've heard most of them. Super thick, dense, good, well written, well published by a guy who has experienced that writing. So do I recommend it? Maybe. It depends on whether or not you're willing to challenge your Christian positivity, or if you're not a Christian, whether or not you're willing to embrace cynicism as an art, if that makes sense. So I hope you enjoyed this book review. It was honest. It's not one of those book reviews that tells you, oh, this book is the best, because it's not, but it's a very well written book, which is kind of rare to see books that are this well written, with the formatting and the paper, the colors, the text size, the font, and just the stories, the anecdotes. It's rare. So if you want to master cynicism, buy this book. If you don't want to see all the cussing, don't buy this book. So yeah, that's it. Bye.